That's one of my favorite schools, by the way. Oh,
Hi, how are you?
so you guys in the room?
I don't know how to do the transition, and that's okay. I'll just hand you the thing. When you get here, you can do the transition.
That's
Okay.
Everything happens for a reason. He was, a couple weeks ago when I saw him in his internship, he was like,
at 7:35. If everyone can go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, just a quick announcements. We do have 2 emergency exits. It would be the door you entered directly behind you and the door directly behind me. And if you could go ahead and silence your cell phones. I will go ahead and begin with roll call. We have Roger Roker to my left, Board Trustee, Ashley Dreyer, Board Trustee, Beth Cleveland, Board Trustee, Judith Kuhn, District Clerk, Dr. Brian Graham, our Superintendent of Schools, myself, Sue Marston, Board Trustee, Jay Grover, Board Trustee, Joy Lamarca, Board Trustee, Daniel Bruno, Board Trustee, John Fitzpatrick, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Staff Development, and Human Resource, Cheryl Cardone, Assistant Superintendent of Pupil Personnel Services. We have Dr. Doug Whalen with us, our Interim Assistant Superintendent for School Business and Finance. Sienna Sarkis, one of our Board of Education student representatives, and also Charlotte Towers. All right, we will begin with our approval of our agenda this evening. If I can get a motion.
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 7-0. If I can get approval of our minutes from our January 5th meeting, please. And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 7-0. On to our student ambassadors from middle school. We have Dr. Alicia Plotty, our middle school principal. You okay?
Yeah.
That's good.
Hi everyone. I'm excited to introduce you to Mohammed Alaji this evening. He's a 7th grader at BCMS. His role is the multimedia specialist in student council, and he participates in modified soccer and wrestling, and he is hoping to be an 8th grade web leader next year.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Alaji. I am the multimedia specialist in the middle school student council. There are many different things that are going on in middle school. There's going to be a Valentine's Day volleyball tournament on February 15th. Students from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade will compete to raise money for charity for Winner's Choice. Student council is also having an annual Valentine's Day soccer set. Students can buy soccer for 50 cents or a ring pop for $1 to send to a friend. Sales will take place February 9th through February 12th. And soccer will be delivered on Friday 13th, just in time for break. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And our student ambassadors from the high school, we have Sienna and Charlotte.
So first thing, the Little Shop of Horrors kicks off this Thursday, and they'll also have a show Friday and Saturday. All the students in cast and crew are working very hard and are excited for tomorrow's preview for the entire high school. And we will have a modified schedule, and students will get to head down to the auditorium to get a glimpse of the musical. I know I'm very excited to see it. And Miss Boutte and Miss Suarez have been working really hard and have done such an excellent job working together to make this show happen.
So a few weeks ago, the Academy of Finance and SAC went on a field trip to Disney for 5 days.
Can you let the board know what a SAC is?
SAC is the Student Athletic Advisory Council, so there were a couple students that came with us on that. I was part of the Academy of Finance, and we got to do a leadership workshop, and it was in Hollywood Studios this time, so we learned a lot about working together as a team and what it means to really be a leader. We got to go around the park, we got to see behind the scenes, where they do some of the shows right by Tower of Terror. We got to go in before the show started. We got to see all around, so that was really fun. I just want to say thank you to Ms. Boutte, Ms. Wegren, and Mr. Kaiser, because it was such a fun trip, and we just had such a great time. Also, Interact Club just worked on making Valentines, that we're gonna be delivering to Elderwood next week for the residents, so we just hope that that will brighten up their day a little bit.
Thank you. On to correspondence and good news with Dr. Graham.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your interest in our school district and either watching online or being here in person. We're pretty excited about many opportunities that our faculty, our students, and other staff have been involved with. The first thing I would like to do is invite Jamie Mancuso, who'd like to come up to the podium. And I want to give you some information. She recently was awarded the 2026 Western States Outstanding Middle School Science Educator Award. So I will stop there. It's a long title. Let's give her a big round of applause. It's really great. And we saw the photo. Is that Mr. Collard next to you?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Collard had the opportunity to present the award to me as, I believe he's the co-chair of Western Standing.
Excellent.
So yeah, it meant a lot to get it from someone that I know and work with.
You know, Jamie, you've done such marvelous work in our school district. When I got to know you, you were helping us integrate technology in our elementary schools, Sidway, Youth, and Kegabine. And then you took a little bit of a risk and you came up to the middle school to lead a 6th grade classroom. And above and beyond that, you and one of your colleagues became inducted into the New York State Master Teacher Program, which is very rigorous. So if you wouldn't mind, just share a little bit about that. What did it take for you and Deanna to be approved and inducted? Just let the board know the rigor behind that.
Well, the application process is actually a year-long process. There's 3 rounds to it. We had to fill out an application that had 5 parts to it. It took a couple of months. We had to take a test, get recommendations from colleagues and from administrators. Once we got past the first round, we had to go through an interview process. And then we were alerted after that as to whether or not we got into the program. And it was about a full year that it took from start to finish.
Yeah, and some people don't make it,
That is true.
right? But this year, another middle school colleague was inducted just maybe a week or 2 ago,
Yes.
Angela Birdie.
Yeah.
So it's just really great. And beyond you, Deanna, and Angela, there are other Grand Island teachers who have followed this path and have led the way. Right?
Yes, there were a couple of high school teachers, I believe, who went to master teacher, and Larry Howard previously. Yeah, I actually just left
Did you?
Deanna and Angela
Yeah,
at Buff State. We had a PLT meeting tonight.
Right.
So we were together for that, so.
and it really does elevate everything about pedagogy, the profession, right?
I honestly don't think I would have gotten the award if it wasn't for the work that Deanna and I do with master teacher.
Yeah, that's great. And can you talk about this particular award?
So this was through Stanley's, it was through the Western region. They recognize 2 middle school teachers, 2 high school teachers every year. I was actually nominated by a colleague, by Deanna. She's actually has earned the award in the past as well. So yeah, it was quite the honor. I'm relatively new to middle school, I'm relatively new to teaching science, but in a lot of ways I feel like it's where I was always meant to be. So it's something I absolutely love doing, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah. I see you brought your family. I don't know if you want to introduce them briefly. That'd be great.
My husband Keith is here,
And could
and
you
my,
guys stand just briefly? Thank you, Keith.
my daughter Mila is 7, and my son Caleb is 5.
Thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause. And just hang out a little bit after we do all the correspondence and good news. We'll take a group picture with the board. Okay. Congratulations. Does anybody have any questions for Jane?
Congratulations.
Oh, and make sure you bring
I did, I brought
the award when we take the picture. That's great. Congrats. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Very good. Up next, I'd like to invite Kieran and Braden to the microphone, and maybe Mr. Podlucky, and could also come up and just introduce the boys and talk about their most recent induction as cadets. Thank you.
If you want, and you have it if you want it. don't know if you want to. I don't know if you.
We'll let Richard.
That's a smart move. The font size is 3. Nice to give it to a younger leader of the fire department. Could you just do a quick intro of who you are?
So yeah, so my name's Richard Nichols. Last year I was passed with the cadet program. This year I'm doing the rookies, but I gave these 2 awards because they did a lot last year and I was very proud of them, so I thought I would honor them with a nice award. So this is the same speech that I gave at our installation dinner. So Cadet Kieran, I recognized him. He's shown outstanding dedication to the organization. Being still in high school, Kieran completed EMTB and went on to complete AEMT, which is the next level before paramedic. He passed both of them, which is about 300 hours total classroom and clinical. So that level of commitment speaks a lot about him. I was very proud of him. Gave him the Training Excellence Award for the cadets last year. Braden also showed strong dedication. An impressive commitment to training while still in high school. Braden completed BFO, which is 79 hours, and IFO, which was another 50 hours. He's also currently enrolled in Firefighter Survival Series Self-Rescue, adding another 12 hours of training. This level of dedication at such a young age does not go unnoticed. I'm extremely proud of Braden's commitment to the organization, as well as both of them. They did phenomenal last year.
Boys, maybe you could just come up and talk a little bit about your experience, and also how would you promote this with your peers or younger students in the high school? Who would like to go first? All right, let's go. And just remind everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Braden Walden. I'm enrolled at Grand Island High School. I'm also a fire cadet at Grand Island Fire. The opportunity to be able to work with such great people like Richie and Podlucky it's great, and the opportunities to learn new skills is also amazing, and just the people you meet and being able to help people every day.
That's awesome. Braden, how old are you?
I am 17.
Great. Are you a senior?
Junior.
Wow. Wow. Super impressive. Congratulations, Braden. Well done. Does anybody have a question for Braden? All right, let's go. Good job, Braden. Kieran, what do you have? Are you similar? Are you in 11th or 12th grade?
So I'm in 12th grade
Nice.
at Grand Island High School too. I got a lot of my peers with me, and I'd like to thank you for congratulating them as well. I know they have exceptional hard work, and I really appreciate that you noticed everyone here tonight. So thank you to the board and all the members here. So my name is Kieran Meisel, and I'm a certified emergency medical technician for Grand Island Fire Department. I've completed my advanced EMT course as well, but I have to wait till I'm 18 to get certified for that. So I've responded to about 200 calls in 2025, led patient care probably about over 20 times, and assisted in many other calls. So it's been a great opportunity. I'd like to thank everyone from the fire department, especially my training captain, Richie Nichols, and Chief John Podlucky. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. And I want to wish you guys all a healthy year. And thank you so much again for letting us come up here.
Well done.
As a senior, do you know what your plans are after high school yet, or?
Yeah, so I just have committed to Niagara University for nursing. I plan to become an emergency room nurse or an ICU nurse, preferably at OSHI or ECMC Medical Center. So I'm really passionate about this. I've gained a lot of valuable experience, and a lot of confidence over the years of taking the courses. So I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's been a great, introductory into healthcare. And I feel very confident going into college. So it's been a great experience.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, we're very proud
Thank you
of
very much. I appreciate it.
That's great. And just hang tight. We're gonna
John,
get a
do you
group
have anything-
picture.
Do you have anything to share,
Sure. I'd just like to thank the board for recognizing these guys and furthermore for recognizing the cadet program. I know we didn't explain a lot about that, but the cadet program is open to juniors and seniors in high school. And then there's opportunity if they stay at college to continue along as senior cadets until they're done with their college commitment. If not, they decide to go into the workforce, then we encourage them to become probationary rookie members. So basically, they act in a capacity where they support us on scene, so at fires and stuff like that, they might help us move ladders to the scene or hook up a hydrant to the fire engine or stuff like that. But these guys are also able to provide patient care up to their level of service. Kieran honestly has one of the best bedside manners of anybody. A new provider, document standing, and Braden is a very, very hard worker. So these guys really went above and beyond. But furthermore, what we're most proud of isn't just the time they put in, but that they're also good students and good role members and models in the community. That means a lot to us too. So we just want to thank the board for recognizing that and allow us to kind of showcase that program. So thank you.
I just want to say, I was honored to be at the installation ceremony for the fire department and was able to see you both be recognized. And really, it was impressive to see the amount of youth that is being involved in our fire department. I can't say enough and thank our fire department as a whole for all you do for our residents. We are always here to support and encourage and recognize our students, John. So if there's ever something we are not in attendance for, please reach out and let us know, because we are always, willing and, always want to showcase, the good in our students. So thank you both for joining our fire department and joining such an amazing team to take care of our community. We appreciate that, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Just hang tight, we'll get a group picture in a moment. Up next, I'd like to invite Mark Wales to the podium. And Mark, if you could bring the students with you, that would be amazing. Mrs. Bruno, or Miss Bruno, I'm sure you are very proud of Mark and the students. Mark, you have been leading the mock trial team, and we are experiencing some incredible success. So I thought maybe you could share with our board and the community what is mock trial and some of the successes you have gained as you get a bye into the playoffs.
Yeah, so we're on the mock trial team. This is my 4th year as the club advisor. And mock trial is a competition where high schools are given a fictional court case. This year it's a criminal case. And our students take on the role of lawyers and witnesses. And we prepare the case. We do 2 trials in the preliminary round. Our first trial this year was as the prosecution, and the second trial was as the defense. And our students prepare our legal strategy, courtroom procedures. We get a lot of expert advice from our attorney advisor, Ms. Bruno. And this year, so the last 2 Saturdays, we won our first trial as the defense, and this past Saturday we won our second trial we won the first trial as prosecution and the second trial as the defense. And I just found out today that because we scored so well, we are the #1 school in Erie County going into the playoffs. So this is a great success. I don't know about Ms. Bruno. Maybe can tell us if we've ever had this kind of success before, but certainly not when I've been involved in it.
I think that this is the highest level of success that I've seen in the last few years, and I'd like to point out that this is Mr. Wales' first year as head coach, so he humbly stated 4 years.
I've shared the duties with Mr. Mike Murray for the previous 3 years. He teaches criminal law, so he knows this, he teaches it. So
Yeah.
He's been teaching it for decades,
Yeah.
so he knows what he's doing, and he backed off this year. I took over as the the main coach. And I will introduce some of our team members here. We have ninth grader Dylan Schwimmer. He is one of our witnesses. Senior Hayden Sharkey. He is one of our lawyers. Carl Beckley, another one of our lawyers, also a senior. Ninth grader Sienna DeLuise, a witness. Emily Goss is one of our lawyers. She's a junior. And senior Ismail Masoudi, also one of our lawyers. And everybody did a great job. All the credit goes to Ms. Bruno for coaching them up, and also the students for actually listening to her. So good job all around.
Yeah. Go ahead, Danielle.
I'd like to add seeing the transition and the growth amongst the students, and to attribute, part of that to Mr. Murray as well. You guys have come so far throughout the years, and you can see your confidence in the courtroom. And it's not easy. Public speaking is one of the hardest things to do. So whether or not you want to be attorneys or not, this experience that you get is going to serve you well in any field that you go into. Being able to think on your feet, think fast, and also with the team and to prepare. I know how nerve-wracking it can be. It's still, and it's always going to be nerve-wracking for me, so think about it that way too. But that's what kind of makes it fun. I think trial work is one of the most rewarding works to do. And I am so excited about the freshmen too. You guys held it down on the stand as witnesses. And I can't wait to see your transition and growth throughout the years too. So I hope that you keep signing up and doing good work. And I look forward to the finals and preparing with you guys.
That's wonderful. So well said. Mark, could you let the board know the next step? Obviously, you've earned a bye as being seated number 1 out of 14 school districts.
I love saying that we are number 1 in Erie County.
Yes.
The next round of the playoffs is this Saturday, which we don't have to do because we are so good. We are number 1. We are number 1 right now. There's a 1 next to Grand Island. And so we get an automatic bye to the second round, which is in 3 weeks on February 28th. And that's the second round, and hopefully we do just as well or even better.
And where is this event held?
All the trials have been either at county or city court downtown or county court, Delaware Avenue. So, and we go in front of either a real judge or a lawyer, somebody who's obviously experienced in the law, and it can be nerve-wracking too. You're in a real courtroom, and the kids do really, really great. Presenting their cases and keeping their cool sometimes. So it can be challenging, but great job all around.
Yeah, and for the community, Grand Island is number 1, followed by Mount Mercy Academy, Clarence, East Aurora, St. Francis, Frontier, Orchard Park, Nichols, Williamsville East, Nardin, Depew, the Buffalo Academy for Sacred Art, St. Joe's, and Iroquois, and Grand Island.
Is at the top of the list.
Let's go.
Number 1, top of the list.
Any other questions from the board? All right. Is anybody interested in law, maybe, or thinking about law post high school and beyond? Yeah, go ahead.
Carl, 2 of our lawyers.
All right.
Carl, senior, Ismail, possibly also senior, also one of our lawyers.
Excellent. That's great. So why don't we start, if it's okay? Oh, go ahead, Ms.
I was just gonna say for the seniors, if you have your plans or what you're thinking about doing after graduation, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the microphone and telling us what your plans are. We always like to hear where our students are heading after graduation.
I'm Hayden Sharkey. I will be attending Fredonia to study political science, and after that I will most likely go to Buffalo Law School.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Ismail. I'm not going for law. I'm going for biochemistry on the pre-med track. I'm not really sure where I'm going, but I want to stand right here.
I'm Carl Beckley. I haven't committed to a college yet, but I'm hoping to go into some sort of political science major or political philosophy. I'm still deciding between a couple different majors, but the plan is to go to law school after my undergraduate studies.
And if anybody else up there knows their path, what they're interested in, you certainly, if not, no pressure, just don't want to leave anybody else out. If anybody has a path or feels in mind.
Just really quick, for the students that actually are looking into going into law school. In addition to political science, there's also a legal studies major at UB. I'm an attorney. So I went to UB and concentrated in social science interdisciplinary legal studies. So if you are looking at majors like political science, also take a look at the legal studies program as well.
That's great advice. Emily, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so my name is Emily Goss. I am the current New York State DECA Region 12 president, and I am in the middle of my campaign for running for the state executive office this year. So my campaign is focusing on the grassroots of DECA because New York DECA is continuing to outgrow itself, and as we gain thousands of more members, and then I also want to focus on making sure that no smaller school or chapters like ours gets left behind amidst all the chaos. So I am running my campaign in March and speaking in front of the state career conference. And if I'm elected, I'll be on the state office for my senior year next year.
Congratulations. Yeah. Well then, can we start with a group picture with this group? And great. If the board could come, we'll have this group first, then we'll go to our cadets, and then we'll finish with Mrs. Jamie Mancuso.
No eyes closed. All right, get ready. I will take some, Alice, and then the parents. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Excellent. Give a round of applause and board stay there.
You're in, bro. You're right there. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice meeting you too. Thanks. We got 3 weeks to prepare.
Get ready.
I can. And then somebody.
All right, nice job.
Buenas noches.
Nice seeing you.
July 8th. Thank you.
Nice. All right, get ready, everybody.
Family in one family shot?
One more.
Guys, you wanna go there, come on? Come on.
Yeah, go on, give mama a hug. Go. Go. Let's go.
Quick, you got it.
That's it.
You got it. And right next to mom. You got it.
You guys take it easy.
All right, well done.
Good job. Yeah, of course. Have a great night. You too. Will you take the with us? You want to be around you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot to be proud of, Mrs. Marston.
Yes, lots going on this week, right? Sometimes it's great. All right, public comments, agenda items only. We did not have anybody sign up, so we'll move on to curriculum and instruction with,
Thank you. There are two items. The first one, item A, is the field trip for the wrestling qualifier in Dunkirk. It's an overnight field trip, so we need action on that. And the other item, item B, is just the January curriculum update for your information.
anybody have any questions on the field trip? Whoops, before I ask for a motion? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve curriculum and instruction A, please? In a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, on to personal instructional. Anybody have any questions before I ask for a motion? Okay, motion to approve instructional personnel PI 1 through PI 6, please. And a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 7-0.
Yeah, I don't think we have any intros tonight.
Okay, on to personal non-instructional. Any questions before we ask for a motion? All right, then I'll ask for a motion to approve non-instructional personnel PNI 1 through PNI 4, please.
I'll motion.
And a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
I just want to thank the board for participating in New York State HELPS program. It's going to really benefit many of our employees and it lightens the load a little bit with civil service. So we thank the board for their leadership. John, just any other?
Just really thank you very much, because it is a New York State literally helping program to in the civil service classification where school districts don't get a lot of civil service employees anymore for many needed positions. So it's actually helping people along who are provisional appointments to become permanent. So
That's great, thank you.
On to finance. Dr. Whalen.
Yes, thank you.
Should we go ahead and do the one motion item we have before we get to the alternate, or? Because I think we just have the one item, that's the one action item. Should we go ahead and do that before we? Does anybody have any questions on the transfers before we ask for a motion? All right, then I'll ask for a motion to approve finance A, please.
I'll motion.
And a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 7-0. Okay, good, then you
The
have
other four information, the other four answer information.
Anybody have any questions on anything before we dive into the budget? Alrighty, let's go.
All right, thank you very much, as always. I want to thank Doug and John Monasanti for their hard work behind the scenes in putting this initial draft for our community, for the board. This is truly a draft. There will definitely be changes in the March presentation, but it's really good for you to see the work that is being done by Doug and his team, as well as the work that he is doing leading our principals and supervisors and going over the projected budget. And I have 2 minutes left. All right. I love it. So, I know I spend a lot of time talking about our mission, but I do want to thank the board again because you helped lead the strategic plan, which is called Blueprint for Excellence, and that was about a year ago in a couple months. And in that plan, we just tweaked the mission statement, which now reads that we endeavor to inspire each student to achieve their highest potential by honoring their unique pathway, fostering academic excellence, supporting personal growth, and promoting social responsibility, and that is embedded in the slides and the work of the budget. Each year, I think for the last 10 years, you've seen this slide, and it's really good as we enter a budget to have goals. We want to continue to develop our long-term sustainable budget designed to provide the best diversified educational program for all of our students, UPK, through grade 12. We're going to learn a little bit about some of the changes in UPK across New York State today. Additionally, we believe it's important to do our very best to retain what the community has mandated as student programs and activities for their children here at Grand Island. And this is an important goal, I think, for everybody all across the state as we build our budgets, but to do our very best to protect the fund balance. With that said, I'm not going to read all of these strategic plan goals, but I think it's important, just to reiterate that these goals do guide us every day. And John Fitzpatrick is in the process of doing a refresh of our Blueprint for Excellence, which I believe will be meeting in May. So we appreciate the board's support in the work that we do to build strategic goals. So Doug has created these slides. I think they're traditional. You've seen these before as board members, but just to reiterate his work in working with our team in December and January. And it's just really important to emphasize that Doug has been here for 5 weeks, 5-ish.
I've been working on the budget for 3.
Yeah, make sure the microphone's on. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Very good. So working for the last 3 weeks on this, right?
Because I started December 22nd.
Yes.
First you have the holiday, and then getting to know the staff and the scope of an $80 million budget.
Right.
And meeting all the principals and directors, so.
Yeah. So tonight's our first look at a draft budget, and then that'll continue. You can see that we're meeting again on March 9th. And this is good not only for the board, but for the community. March 23rd, we'll have another meeting, and then it's really important, as you know, the governor has April 1st as her deadline. She's been late for the past few years, so we really need to be confident as we get closer to late March and mid-April that we have the correct budgeted numbers from the state. And the last regularly scheduled board meeting to adopt is April 21st, but we may have already adopted the budget before then. And then we'll have a public hearing on May 11th. And so tonight, Doug and I will take you through some of the major pieces of the budget, talking about just the early look at the tax levy limit calculation, revenues and expenditures, bus proposition. We'll do a deep dive in enrollment tonight, and then wrap things up with our budget calendar. So I'd like to turn over to Doug just to give you some of the broad strokes, some of the highlights of the governor's first executive budget for us.
Well, first of all, the first draft is 83.6 million. Our budget is now 79 million. So it's 5.5% higher. It's a little bit high at this point, but it's our first draft. This week we have a meeting with the Health Insurance Committee, and that's a large number in our budget, so I'm hoping to get information on that.
And that's super important for the board to understand that Doug will meet with our advisors with respect to health insurance, and they will help Doug's long-term plan what the projected increase will be, and that should be reflected in the next budget presentation.
We spend about $10 million a year on health insurance, and it's very important. I have it rising about 12%, but I hope I'm in the ballpark, so I hope it doesn't go any higher than that. But the people that we're dealing with will give us the information, and we'll put it in the budget.
Cheryl, can you move the mic a little closer, Doug? Thank you.
So on the executive governor's budget, I know you're last, and I know you like the same format. I did not, some of these things that Bob had, I couldn't find. So, and it looked like a bunch of paragraphs, so I put it in bullets to make it easier. But the highlights on this sheet is our foundation aid is going up 5.2%.
And I do want to emphasize that for the board. That is unusual and welcomed by us as leaders of the district, and I'm sure by the board. This is the first time in many, many, many years that we've seen the governor give us 5.2% increase in foundation aid, so we're very grateful to that.
Is that number solid, or do we need to wait till it goes first?
I don't think it's solid, but if it changes, of course, we will alert the board and the community. But what's really important, which we hope it doesn't change, but some of our peer school districts, I think 67% across the state are only receiving 1%. So we will be advocating as a region for those districts to get minimally 2%. We won't be advocating for ours to go down, so.
Well, but that number won't be solid until our governor's budget is.
Approved by the legislature.
Correct,
Is that what you're
so
saying?
while we're saying it's 5.21, that could change and we won't know until the governor's budget.
It could change. Usually the legislature provides more. in my
I understand that, I just,
experience.
you know.
So, but 5.2 is a good number.
Love to be
at this point.
excited about it, but anything can change, and foundation age has traditionally been something that has always been active yet.
Yeah,
I know, I don't wanna be cautious.
yeah. Right, exactly. The other thing I'd like to mention on this sheet is the maintenance of the universal school meal program, which is gonna go for another few years. And that's important to us because many more students, well, the purpose of school lunch is to provide meals to students who can't afford them. So you get your highest reimbursement when you offer a free meal, but they're all free now. So there's free breakfast and free lunch. In fact, we're serving 22,325 more lunches than we did last year. And we're serving 11,670 more breakfasts than we did last year. And in the breakfast area, we have just one monitor in the breakfast area where they're having breakfast, or cafeteria. So you'll see a couple of requests for monitors. And that program is going to continue, and that's really helping the finances of that school lunch program. Moving on to the executive aid proposal. This is just a comparison between last year and this year. The January 26th is the executive proposal. You'll see that the $16 million is the 5.2%. Universal pre-K, we're also getting an awful lot of money, but I'm not sure we can use it. It's going from $690,000 to $1.2 million. So that's going up 76%. But of course, you have to have the space and the facilities, and I don't know enough about the Grand Island School District yet to be able, but the governor is pushing for all 4-year-olds to have an opportunity to go to preschool.
Yeah, go ahead, Mrs. Moore.
Well, I just wanted to ask, last year, I mean, we do a lottery. Does everybody know the number of how many preschoolers we, and how many did we turn away last year? And we have.
We had people who chose not to.
Right, but we didn't turn anyone away. So.
In fact, we started the year with a meeting with
I'm just trying to compare where we are to where 100% is, right?
But if we serve 100% of our students, we may not get the 1.2 million because there's a capacity issue.
No, I understand.
You understand? Yeah.
I was just wondering where we were today,
Yeah.
servicing the students that we want.
Yeah, apparently we serve them all, which is great.
Yeah. There is a little controversy for the board to understand. There are some districts in, say, the southern tier that are smaller than us that aren't happy that this is a mandate. So there will be some pushback by some districts that just don't have the room or the capacity to support this mandate. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but it is a strong pillar of the governor's proposal.
It is very interesting that they are mandating EPK and they don't mandate kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
Like, so at some point, I wonder if they will eventually mandate kindergarten. right, it seems kinda, I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
silly, I'm gonna use
Yeah.
silly for lack of a better term, but that we're gonna mandate UPK, we do not mandate kindergarten, right? Like, at some point, they should probably do that if they're gonna mandate 4-year-olds and not 5-year-olds.
And Jen, when you present next week, or next month, it would be great.
Did you not know that, Trevor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so kindergarten is not mandated.
John, if you get a chance in March's presentation, I know you'll talk about curriculum. Let's do a little research to see what that means across the state these days with respect to kindergarten too.
And also with this increase, it's gonna impact our community-based organizations, because we might find more community-based work to come back.
Absolutely, I think the numbers of, if it becomes mandated, it's not gonna be 129, because we have, 200 or whatever the number is, we are definitely gonna see more of a need. I was just wondering if we were turning anybody away currently. Was the only point I was asking.
Good. Thank you, Doug.
Okay, moving on to page 10. You've seen this diagram before. There is a mistake in this. On the first line, the number is $16,000, not $16,022. I typed that in wrong.
So 16,000 even?
So 16,000 is the initial pilots, these are payments in lieu of taxes, and that's last year. We expect $16,022 in the future. So the way this formula sets up, and you'll see it later, is it ultimately calculates how much you can raise taxes. So I can run through it quickly with you. It starts off that we collected $41.8 million in taxes this year. We have a growth index that's given to us by the state of New York, and ours is 1.01. We must have slight growth in the Grand Island area. Then the payment in lieu of taxes, you add from the prior year. And then your capital levy, what happens is, the capital exclusion is you take your principal and interest and you subtract out your state aid, and that's the local share that's called the capital exclusion. So from that basic part, then everyone gets a 2% increase. Then you plus in your payment in lieu of taxes. You get a number, 40.9 million. And then you plus in your capital exclusion, which is 2.2 million. And both the 2 million number and the 2.2 million have been calculated by our financial advisor. That sets up the fact that you can collect $43 million worth of taxes. So you collected 41, your maximum cap is 43.2, and that is the 3.32%. So the board can establish that wherever you like, but you can't go over 3.32. On page 11, this is the estimated proposal on tax rates. It's a little early to be talking about tax rates because we don't really have a budget in place yet. But you have this form, and what your previous business official did is just raise your tax rate by 2%, just as an example. So the top line is your last year's rate was $17.72. You went to full Vale, you went down to $11.94, and I'm just raising that 2% just as an example. Other changes I've made is we always talk about actual valuation of homes, like at $185,000. It's really kind of low. I picked 205 for last year. In talking with the assessor, it's actually 397.
I love that you raised that number, thank you.
Full Vale. So all this is showing if you have $205,000 assessed value house at $1,772, your taxes were $3,633. Going up to the full value, your taxes at a rate of $11.94, your taxes are going more 47.40. So it shows you how much taxes went up. Now, this is just an example, because when you do a revaluation, some of the taxes go up, some of them go down, some of them stay the same. So it's just meant to show an example. The star exemption is going to be $33,140. That's on your right-hand side. And I'm being told that the median home value in the town of Grand Island is $430,000.
So that's fair exemption, where it says 25, 26, that's really 26, 27, that's what the exemption's gonna be?
Yes.
Okay, so that should read 26, 27?
So I just have a quick question. And it's kind of a question, and being on the board for a little over 10 years, I don't think we've ever had this situation, so I'm going to stumble through this question. Is there a way, only because of recent events with our last project and situations with people set with having to spend money, taxes going up, assessments are changing, bills are going up, that when we work on this budget, has there ever been a time where we can get it in right under where taxes are either not being increased or very minimally increased? So
if you waited, you can see that come up later in the presentation.
okay, because I'm looking at this and I'm very happy that you are putting in the median home value of $430,000 because 180, we've raised that before.
Yeah,
It's
too
I'm gonna tell you, you can't, unless you're buying something as is, I mean, you're not really the typical price, and I am a real estate broker. So that's one of the things, if that's what we're gonna be talking about, that's gonna be something that I would like to
I'm
focus
gonna
on.
see that, I think it's gonna come up later in the presentation, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, I'm seeing these and I'm seeing the projected increase, and that's one thing that I wanted to put out there.
And the numbers at the bottom, the taxes to be levied, that's just the taxes levied at a 1.9%, 1.992, so that 42 million. And that's the valuation of the property, 3.5 billion. Page 12 is just another form of page that we just went over. I said it was a mistake. Page 10. Page 12 and page 10 are showing the same calculation. Page 10 is what you're used to seeing. You also see page 12, but 12 is done by the financial advisor. So it has the same numbers in that blue column. When you start with your last year's taxes, you have the growth index, you have your pilots, and you just come right down, and it calculates down to 3.32%. And then the future is unknown, so they just kind of estimate.
And I think that's important. I know that Sue and Joy and many of the board members bring last year's packet. Doug and I actually looked at last year's packet. We looked at the financial advisor's projections, and all the financial advisors doing just adding 2% across the board. So the reality is that, you know, what's the actual and then the proposed is so much closer to reality. So thank you, Doug.
Page 13. There's a little change here because I initially didn't understand the building aid, how it was put on this form, but in the past, they've listed building aid separately and they've subtracted it from state aid. But these are your state aid numbers across the top, the property tax levy at 2%. I put a footnote on the bottom. See, you're comparing budget 25-26 to an actual governor's proposal. And you're not comparing the same things. So your actual receipt of state aid in 25-26 was over $25 million. It's on the bottom. So you actually received $25.4 million. You budgeted 23.7. So a lot of times business officials will budget lower because they want more revenue to come in. But if you compare the 25 million that you received in 25-26 to the governor's proposal of 26-27, you will get the 5.2%. And that's what I'm trying to show there. I'll straighten this out a little bit on the next time, but all the previous person did was take the building aid out of the 23 million, 23.7 million, put it on a separate line, and then the 5 point whatever you're trying to show in state aid actually appears. You don't have that 12.9% increase.
And Doug, I know some of the work we'll be doing in the next month, we as a district will be looking to decrease, right, the actual budget at 83. We'll be looking to bring that down.
Yes, yes.
Right? Thanks. Okay.
You've got to bring that down because it's 5.5% increase. It's too high. It probably should be closer to 81. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to the board. How much of an increase you want to go from 79 and up.
And that's really what Joy was also talking about, and Sue. So we will definitely be using the board's guidance to help us reduce and make it more affordable.
So, Joe, I guess the point is, I know Jay and I, in talking after the vote and in some of the other processes, we have charged the district to come under our.
Thank you.
Page 14 is, all of these are standard pages that you see every year. So it's just a percent of state aid to the budget. Page 16 are the major expenditures broken down into categories. I found another mistake on TRS. The TRS rate is going from 9.59 to 8.3. It is not 10.29.
So it's 8.3, isn't it?
We're figuring 8.3.
Okay, thank you.
One of the challenges that Doug and I have talked about is the ERS rate at 17.6. That contribution rate seems to be high, and just Doug and I were just talking about why is it so high and so much higher than TRS. So we might be digging into that to get a little bit of information, but it is what it is, right?
The state sets those rates.
Yeah. So
the one area that you're going to see conflict in or problems that I found is BOCES. It's in the middle of the page. When I first came, and I'm looking at the BOCES budget, it seemed awful high in comparison to what we actually budgeted. In other words, our expenses were higher than we budgeted, and if you look at the prior year, 4.9 million, and then you look at the projected budget at 6.5. So we're just on this 3 weeks, but I learned that there was a little difficulty in last May and June, where when we were carrying over money from one year to another, we actually carried over the entire balance of the account instead of the encumbrance. Let me explain. When you come to May or June and you issue a purchase order, and you don't pay that by June, you actually encumber the purchase order amount so that you have that amount the next year to pay the bill. What happened was we carried over the entire balance on the books of the BOCES budget. So we moved a lot of money from one year to another and inflated the BOCES budget. So we're in the process, it's just an accounting thing. It's not major, it's just, it didn't look good to me, I didn't understand it, and we finally figured it out. But it's just a timing issue, and it's an accounting thing.
So do you think that 6.5?
It's way too high.
So do you think that number will drop?
Yeah, oh yeah. We're spending about $4.3 million right now for BOCES. Page 17 is just a form you have that designates the other category. Page 18 is your TRS and ERS rates. where we show you the percentage coming down for TRS and the percentage going up for ERS. And these are applied to your salaries, and it has a direct, what are you gonna budget for FICA?
Doug, can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Yes.
Jody would like to say thank you for this page.
I ask for this page all the time, and because it's never in the budget,
Okay.
and I'm always asking every year. So
Okay.
it's great that I don't have to ask,
Okay.
and you have it in here.
Yeah, good.
Because,
Good.
ambiguous terms like mother at 4.5 million, the public
Yes,
is gonna ask,
what is that? Yeah.
what is other?
Yeah.
So thank you.
So I know you're seeing chatter up here, we're just commenting on what we're seeing and we're very thankful, so, I
Well,
apologize for the chatter, but we're actually talking about what we're looking at, and so I'll just stop and say thank you.
It has been difficult for me because Bob was very good at spreadsheet analysis. And it took me an awfully long time to find where some of his information was. Some of it I can't find. And he was so good that when he populated a number in one area, it populated in 5 other places. So he could pull the other category. For us to get the other category, it's more difficult. It's going through 1,000 lines and figuring out what Bob determined as other and what we determined as other, because it's purely a decision on the business official, what is another category. So I just want you to know that you may see some variance there.
So even more, thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Even more reason to thank you.
And Doug, I just gonna pause on this slide because it illustrates the variables of ERS versus TRS, right? The employer rates going from 15 to 17 to 12 to 13 to 15 to 16 to 17, and particularly going from 16 to 17 in a stock market, right? That seems to be doing pretty well right now. So that's all. When I say I'm just surprised by that, it just makes me wonder why it is that high. So.
It's only been the last 3 days that we've been able to get into salaries.
Right.
So that's one of the big areas we're really focused on now. But you're dealing with $40 million when we talk about the salaries. 30 million, 29 to 30 million is your professional staff. So when you put these rates to $30 million, that's what determines your budget. Page 20, these are pages that I could not find, so I made them up. They mimic pretty closely what your last forms look like. But remember, I had to make a decision at a point that I had to say, this is what budget we're going to present to the board in the first draft, because it is, it's a lot. So some of these pluses and minuses are going to change as we lower this budget, but this is what existed at this time with this $83.6 million budget. So I won't go over them in detail, but I will point out that on page 21, the BOCES number of 1.6 was what I thought at the time. It is not accurate. So on page 21, the $1.6 million at the top, where I detail out all the categories and BOCES that I think we're overspending. It's not the case.
So this will have some changes for the next.
There's a change.
Thank you.
That's the same on page 22, where under support services, most of the $621,000 is data processing, library automation, occupational education. Those are all BOCES services. Page 23, our principal in debt is going up. Our interest is going up. On our bonds, the principal is coming down, the interest is going up. But these are just the pluses and minuses at that point. Been doing so well.
Doug, I think the board is very pleased with your hard work and giving such good detail and explanation, so thank you so much. And I know we'll be turning it back over to you momentarily, but just as the board knows, we look very carefully at enrollment, so this is just a quick peek at the changes over time. You can see that in 2020 we had 2,815 students. The next year we had 73 fewer students. The next time we looked at this, we had 74 more students, and then 29 fewer, and then 33 fewer. But the numbers are around that 2,800 mark. So in 2023-2024, we're at 2,754 students. In 24-25, 2,786 students. And then most recently, 2,780 students. So the good news is that we're not seeing a rapid decline, but relatively stable as it relates to enrollment. And then overall, you'll see, just everything kind of tabulated in one chart for you over 9 years. You can see some changes, right? 964 students, 973 for the high school, 946, and most recently about 851 students there. So you'll see Grand Island High School start to decline. The middle school was close to 700, and then most recently around that 643, 650 range. Kettlepine, you can see a little variance, but not too much, from 413 now to 444. Youth 414 in 2017 to 448. And then Sidway at 379 in 2017. It was 438 a few years ago, and very close to 400 now. So what we're seeing in enrollment trends is that we're maybe plateauing a little bit at Sidway, where we're getting about 200, 210, 215 students. And if you just take that number and multiply it by 13, it gives you that idea that we'll be around that 2,800 mark without any rapid decline. We do think that there is growth on the island with respect to housing, right? But families are smaller. So, there's, I have 4 children, John Fitzpatrick has 4 children. A lot of families are 1 or 2, right? So, so we are seeing more houses on Grand Island, but smaller families. So, but that 2,800 is a good place to be. It's not, I don't think there's an alarm here, right? And you can see now, looking at this slide projected for next year, a little bit of a bump at the high school, around the same numbers for the middle school, a little bit less at Kettlepine, a little bit less at Youth, and a little bit more at Sidway. So that's good overall for the district. Any questions about those slides? And then the next graphs are really the same numbers, but just given to you visually. So you can see some of those changes over time in page 34, page 35, 36, 37, and so forth, and 38. It's the same numbers, just in graph form. So the board is always really interested in current class size ratios. So you'll see that the 3 columns here that start with the word Sidway, and then the number of grade level teachers and the average class size. You'll see that there are 198 kindergartners with 10 teachers, and class size is right at 20, 19.8 or 20. Please disregard any weird coloring that you see, because I just do weird things on my spreadsheet and I don't know what the colors are. So I apologize. Don't take any alarm with something that's red. It's just something that makes me see something better. So that 198 is not a problem. Okay. So, and then in first grade at Sidway, currently about 179 children. I want to make sure that the board and the community knows that when we look at these numbers, these are students in general education classroom, sometimes with co-teaching support, but these numbers do not include self-contained classes like 811 or 611 or 1211 classes. Those are separate and pulled out of these numbers. So we can really look at class size ratio better this way. So you can see that this year there are about 377 students at Sidway with 19 teachers, and the average class size ratio is right at 20. So when we look at Huth, right, we have a total of 435 students with 20 teachers and a class size of 21.75 or 22. And then Kaegebein, you're going to see 422 students with 20 teachers and class size of 21. Any questions about current class size ratios? All right. And then this kind of breaks it down. It just takes that last row and puts it on its own page. And then it gives you an opportunity to see that we have 1,234 students served by 59 classroom teachers with a class size ratio from K to 5 at 21. Okay? That was mine, so thank you. All right. No. And then, of course, you can see the difference, right? No changes in teachers, about 1,251 with class size of 21. So we spend a lot of time looking at live birth data and trying to make educated guesses, educated predictions of incoming kindergartners. It's not an exact science. I think the board has seen that for the last 10 years. We talk about live birth data. So we try to make a prediction. We look at the history of births attributed to Grand Island. You can see that arrow is pointing to 175. We don't know the exact number of children of the 175 that will enroll in our Sidway kindergarten program, so we can make a prediction. And so our prediction is going to be around 185 children, and that number may not include children with special needs. Okay? And it could change, as we get more data, we may change that slide in the future, but that's kind of how we try to make a prediction. So in that 185, it's just important to know that there's a lot of variance in that number. Sometimes it's spot on, sometimes it is higher than predicted. So right now we're predicting a little bit higher than that 185 with 200 children coming into kindergarten with 10 teachers and a class size of 20. That other number here, the 196, is divided by 9 teachers and a class size of 21.8, which is really 22. You can see that we're predicting 19 classroom teachers with 396 children with a class size of 21. Huth, it's going to look a little different. I just want to bring the board's attention to Huth and Kaegebein. Right now there are 20 classroom teachers at Huth and 20 classroom teachers at Kaegebein. Keep in mind that the total number of students will go down in both of those buildings. And so you're going to see on this projected that we're looking at 19, not 20, 19 teachers at Huth and 19 teachers at Kaegebein. And then this represents 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade on both buildings. So, for example, 93 children coming into the general education classrooms with 4 teachers is 23 students per class, okay? Same for Kaegebein at 23. And then you'll see 3rd grade class size of 21, 4th grade class size of 23 or 24, and 5th grade class sizes of 21 or 22 for Huth, and then you can traverse over to Kaegebein to look at those numbers. Go ahead, Jay.
I know it's early February, but are we anticipating retirements?
We are.
We're asking at the same time.
Yeah.
We're both going on the same
Yeah,
time.
no layoffs, but we are anticipating. No, but it's important, right? We do look for every opportunity to subtract through attrition, and this right now is representative of subtracting through attrition, with trying to do our very best to keep class sizes at an appropriate level that the board recommends or is comfortable with, right? So if we look at that overall at Huth, you're looking at class sizes, when you take everybody into consideration, 22 per class, right? And when you look at Kaegebein, that's 21, right? It's really 21. And if we go back to the other page, right, Kegabyne is at 21, and Youth is really, it says 21.7, which is really 22. So it's really spot on, actually, a little, little variation. Yeah,
I just wanted to, just for clarification, and this includes our inclusion classrooms where some rooms have 2 teachers.
That is correct, yep.
Or a teacher and a teacher's assistant, maybe, one teacher and a part-time. So some of these classrooms that have 22 students might have a teacher and a teacher.
That's correct, and Cheryl, next March, you'll talk about your program and pupil personnel services, but absolutely, the numbers you're looking at here are representative of co-teaching environments. That's perfectly said. So children may be coming to us that have Down syndrome or autism or learning disability. Typically, if they're in a general education classroom, they would receive some special education support, whether it's a special ed teacher or a teaching assistant. Yeah. Okay. All right. And this, again, breaks down that projected class size ratio, and you can see Sidway at 21, 20.8, but 21, and Heath at 22, and Kegabyne at 21. I do want to make sure, and the board has always understood this, that we still get Title I funding for some schools. And Kegabyne is a Title I school, it's eligible for Title I funding. So when you look at the change between Heath and Kegabyne, it's purposeful. We're purposely trying to make, to the extent possible, to be fiscally prudent, but to the extent possible, to have a smaller class size ratio for a Title I school. John, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, just we have one school.
And that's Kegabyne, yeah, so one school. So that's just so the board understands that it is smart for the Grand Island Central School District to give as much support as possible to a Title I school. John, that's accurate, right? Good. And as we look at our secondary enrollment, you can see currently we have 229 sixth graders, 187 7th, and 212 8th. And again, for the board, that fluctuation of the 187 in a couple years, that 187 will be ninth graders in 2 years, right? So you'll see that fluctuation at the high school might be a little more now, might be a little less when those 7th graders enter ninth grade. But that 212 number entering ninth grade next year is good for our high school. And you'll see that this chart is representative of not only our classrooms, but we also include the self-contained children that are part of our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So when we look at all of that, that's how we're making determinations. And this board, has been very supportive of keeping 9 teachers at the middle school. So this year, with 9 teachers and the 229 children in those general education classrooms, the class sizes are actually 25, right? And then if you look to the next chart for the projected numbers, you'll see that it's the same, right? Yeah, actually, yeah. Yep, there you go, yep. I might have to fix this slide because I have 25, 26. No, that's correct, okay, that's good. So yeah, you can see that the numbers go down just slightly, but still 25. Yeah, thank you, I thought I made a mistake. Very good, all right. So that's it on enrollment, but Sue, go ahead.
Just real quick before we jump out of enrollment, we do have a couple students here closing in on 9 o'clock. If somebody can just sign their agenda so they can go home.
Or you can stay.
You can stay if you want.
Option.
You can also.
If you're tired and want to go home, we'll sign your agenda
Yeah,
for
if
you.
somebody can, looks like we just have a couple, if somebody can assign them for them, that would be wonderful.
Oh, I'm glad you caught that.
Does anybody have any questions on enrollment before we move on? Does anybody want to take, does anybody need a couple minutes before we move on? Let's motor. Okay, all right. Moving on.
The next section is all about prioritization. And as I indicated, I'm still formulating the budget, so I only met with the leaders of the buildings twice. So we haven't had our prioritization meeting yet, but it will happen soon. But, so what I did is, page 47 is the same slide that you've seen in the past. I raised the administrator's salary, but left the other two the same.
And this is important for the board because if, in years past when we've added staff, this is just a good idea of the cost, not only salary, but health insurance and other contributions that equate to the total cost of adding a staff member. So, thank you.
I can,
I think it's a draft coming up from the next. I agree. Shutstone. Shutstone. It's all good. Okay.
the current requests in the central office include a TOSA position in curriculum, a 0.4 increase in public relations position. We have the TOSA in technology in there twice, so one of them is wrong. The one under technology, they're requesting a TOSA in technology.
And I just wanted to reinforce, the board is always been appreciative of the transparency of the asks, right? And so that's why we're showing the board at this point all of the asks, and then the next time we meet, there may be subtractions to the asks.
At the high school, they're asking to increase the art teacher by 0.4, depending on courses. And then, portable air conditioning units, there's cameras, there's you see a lot of desks, classroom desks and chairs, teacher desks. Those haven't been replaced, some not ever. Cafeteria tables are getting to be in bad shape. There's laptops for test accommodations. For each of these things, I've met with the high school principal, and these are the requests that Hillary is putting forth. The dollar estimates are purely estimates, so those are still being formulated. Middle school, they're asking for the breakfast monitor because no more breakfast is being served. There's classroom desk sets, musical classroom desks, classroom tables, chairs. Sidway requesting a core literacy program. Now that was $15,000 when I put this together. I met with John, and we took the $15,000 out of Sidway, and he asked me to put in $150,000 for grades 1, 2, K1 and 2. So we're looking at a literacy program. Now sometimes we can talk the vendor into paying half this year and half the following year. So that's just an initial request at this time, but that's what it's going to cost for that program.
Works that the magnetic reach program, which has been very successful in grades 3 through 5, that will bring a similar program down to in order to work consistency across the districts.
I have a question on the breakfast monitor. Right now we have that free meal program, right? In the event that we were to add that, are we able to do away with that position if the program goes away?
Yes, in other words, it will be paid for by the lunch program.
I understand that, but, so the lunch program goes away, like, so we have it this year and it goes away next year. Are we able to do away with that position?
It's a great question, and
So-
the answer is probably, it could be a layoff and not, termination.
So
If the free, program that's the governor's pillar does go away. So there is risk. I think maybe that's your question.
So
There
that,
is
so
risk.
that is my question. We have the need now because we have the program, right? And students are buying breakfast and we can see the need, right? So we create this position, we hire someone, and then the free meal program goes away and we see the need go away. And then we have an employee, and now what do we do, right? That's always my concern when we add, just like when we have grants, when we have whatever, right? So I'd like an answer to that question.
Yeah,
Like,
I think the answer is yes. The risk is that once we hire somebody, they become permanent, and then the funding dries up from the state. That person would be laid off and put on a preferred eligibility list.
And the other thing you can do is do it through attrition. 4 years from now, someone may retire at another building.
I understand that, but if the program is only 1 year, I don't wanna hold
No,
on
it's
to
guaranteed
something.
for the next board.
I understand that, but when it comes to state government, there's no guarantee. So I'm just saying in general,
In
right?
general,
With an increase of what, 11,000 breakfasts, you said something like that, 22,000
Yeah,
lunches, I mean, at the end of the day, we need this.
No, I understand we need
Right,
it, but we
so-
also have to make sure that we are not stuck paying an employee when it's gone, and the program goes away.
So what about at the end of 4 years, can that person be allocated to a different department?
Well, if there's a need in 4 years, but I don't wanna absorb an employee just because we hired them.
No, I
Right.
know.
If we could, correct. I mean, in my 13 years on board, we've never laid anybody off, but here is a situation where it could happen. Because we're hired into a program. And I just wanna put it out there for understanding, right? Like, you know, we are in a time where, you know, our community is asking us to be very fiscally responsible. And, you know, those of us sitting here may not be sitting here in 4 years, right? And you need to make sure there's understanding of what could possibly happen, right? Like, I'm not saying there's not a need, but there needs to be an understanding that, you know, Grand Island could be in a layoff position, that's all, right? That's all, I just wanted, you know, I just,
It happens all the time with
just
teachers,
understand, that's all.
administrators, and,
Yeah, I get it, I'm just asking in this specific, right? I love that we have the program, I love that we have students eating meals here, I love the whole thing, and I love that we have the need. But, you know.
It's super important.
That's all, I was just a
System's
question
telling
for
us to
clarification.
go home.
Yeah.
System's saying, hurry up, Brad.
Heat's off, microphones are off.
No, this was planned. Maybe it was.
It's time to drop the mic. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes, that was just my, I didn't mean to, it was just.
And this is only, slide 50 of 120, so we're almost done.
He's kidding, no, he's 56, there's 300 slides.
So Doug, are we at slide 50?
special education teachers.
Just
We'll
reboot,
talk
just
about it.
rebooting.
Okay.
If you're asking for special education teachers, you'll also see, student furniture. They'd like to replace the auditorium stage curtain. That usually happens in a capital project.
Thank you.
Some of these other things probably could be fixed out of the main budget, depending on what the cost is.
Jay, I think you have a question?
Yeah, don't we use 91,000 for?
Yes, and he will adjust, he'll look at that
Yeah, for teachers,
other
you get
slide
1,000.
and put the correct number in.
Yeah.
Thank you, good catch.
All right, under operations, we are proposing a Proposition 2, which is to purchase buses and trucks. So we'll come to that slide in a minute. One of the other things that transportation is looking at is changing the software program for routing of students. We want to go from this VersaTrans to Transversa. It is, it's a web-based system. It's better for routing. You can track buses in real time. Parents can track where the school bus is. It's just a much more efficient system. In terms of the cameras, I learned that there are 6 cameras on every bus. I didn't know that. And we want to put some money into providing a better system of surveillance. What happens right now is there are tapes on the bus that when a driver says something happened, someone has to go out to the bus, they have to pull the tape out of a cassette, let's say, they have to take it into they have to look at it. This new system, the driver just alerts a camera, and that camera automatically records into our cybersecurity office, and they can see what's going on in the bus. It also,
Is it live?
yeah, it's live, and if there's a 4-hour window after the bus shuts down that is not live, so you could see what's going on. There's remote access that, they can go in and look at those cameras. It's just a much better system, much better for safety, and I think we need to update that. What's happening is a lot of times when they pull the cassettes out of the machine, you lose data. It's just an antiquated system. So it is a bit of some money, but I think it's well spent.
Oh, just really quick, this new bus routing software, this is the first I've seen of it, Traverso. I'd like to know a little bit more about it and what the difference is between the current app that we're all using versus the new one.
It's great, Joy. We can include that in March. My understanding is the same company, but they have a better system. So the same company will,
Like, how is it?
right, and we'll present that.
Because I'll be honest, I use that every day.
Yeah.
I used it too.
Yeah, of course.
So I'd like to see.
I think it's more
does it
than
work
just the
across?
app use. I think it's really about scheduling and routing. So,
Yeah.
but we'll have Teresa give us information.
How does this transfer to use of electric buses? Does any of that software, camera, is that something that we can see in the board?
Usually my voice just naturally carries, so I'm surprised.
It's
Does
late.
Does any of the software, including, the cameras and stuff like that, does that transfer over to the use of?
Yes, you can have an electric bus, it would transfer to any type of bus to do it.
Oh, okay,
So
all right.
we're rubber banding.
So you could take the cameras out of the buses you have, within the other buses. You could use this new software, I'm pretty sure you could do that.
That would be good to know, just in case we ever do mandates.
And we just applied for a 2-year extension for the electric buses. Because we're just not ready for them here at Grand Island. We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have training, et cetera, et cetera.
Do we have a response, or when do we anticipate a response to that extension request?
I haven't got a response yet.
I know it's probably hard to say when we think we would have a response.
I think as a whole, New York State isn't ready for it, and I know there's still
The executive order.
the executive order at the federal level that is not in agreement with the New York State mandate, so we have that going on as well.
We brought that up last year as well, because they originally put electric buses on the proposed budget, and the federal executive order that was signed, it actually supersedes any state, so it'd be interesting, at that time, we didn't have any direction at all from Albany as with regards to any type of electric buses. I don't know if anything's changed, but you still have this federal mandate.
We have a
that
federal
we're kind of
mandate, that's right.
stuck, we have the executive order that probably trumps that.
And we're grateful to have that waiver, or, at least to apply for it, and we're optimistic that we'll get that. So with your permission, I'll skip over slide 52, because all of the X's are not for this year. So
Yeah,
that's
what
just,
I did is just carry the capital
Yeah.
things over.
so it's really nothing for us to be
53
considering.
is the proposition.
Just before we get to the bus proposition, I just want to kind of piggyback on what Joey started to say, and I just want to say that we need to be really cautious and careful with this budget. Our community has spoken, and We are not, I'm not quite sure how to say it, but I'm looking for a rollover budget in this district, as a board member. We really need to take a look at what's really needed and what our bonds are this year. I saw your 3.62%, and I am not looking to tax our residents to that level. I think that's what Joy was alluding to. I know, Jay and I have spoken to Dr. Graham about that, and I'm sure we communicated to the administration of this district. Our community, voting down our capital project, definitely has spoken, and they are speaking loudly. And I want to respect that, and they have been supportive of our district and our town for all the years I have lived here, and I want to be respectful for that. And I don't want to hurt our district in any way. You know, we are here for our children and our students, but we need to honor those that have supported our students and our district for all those years. So as I'm looking at these lists and our propositions, I just really want to take that into account. I mean,
we need to be as fiscally conservative as possible. Our public, I mean, it's unbelievable that first time in my lifetime that is going down. And you have people that are experiencing, increased costs, and they're not receiving increased wages. Housing is going up, everything is going up. So as you're reading online, when everyone's voting for our capital project, one of the main things I called Sue, and I said, when it comes to budget, we are going to have to be fiscally conservative, because we can run the risk that this could get voted down. And, you have a lot of upset people out in our community right now, so we really have to take this and just hone it, like, as much as you can. And, the selling point is going to be is if we don't increase taxes, or we minimally increase tax, because that's going to be, because that's what you're gonna hear, and that's what we were reading online when, on voting day. Our taxes just went up, Grand Island just did a reassessment, our houses are going up, everything's going up, our electric bill's going up, everything's going up, and then this budget's gonna come out, and their taxes are gonna go up again. And it's gonna be, I feel, the same situation we just had.
We had a lot of conversations with a lot of community members, and they're concerned, and they're looking at our budget, and they're looking at what we're gonna do this spring, and they're upset, and our capital project was not well received, and I really think I know they are. I mean, they're looking at our budget, and I just want to make sure that we're not only looking at what's best for our students, but we're looking at what's best for our community. They support everything we do, and I think it's time that we say something to them. It's kind of why when we had that money back in the fall, and we were putting it into the capital project, I was saying, is there any way we could put that in a fund to give it back to our community members, because they were speaking back then. And at that point, we didn't know how to do it, we had done it once before. And it's only built since then. So I just wanted to take a minute to pause, and I know Dr. Graham's had conversations with everybody, but I really wanted to put it out there at the table to me that, that's, I don't want to speak for everybody. I had a conversation with Jay and Joy, and, that's really, kind of where my headspace is, and it's, I don't know, our community has always supported everything, and we really want to make sure that we're mindful.
Yeah, it's great feedback. Is there anything else from the board before we move on?
Costs are really going up. I was looking at our electric bill for the school.
Doubled.
Went from 41,000 to 83,000 in 1 month.
I think everybody has been talking about that electric bill double.
You know, and all summer they said it was gonna happen, so, and with that said, Doug, the school costs are double, right? Like, so there are costs, you know, just, you know, and we've been very fortunate. I mean, there have been school districts, you know, since I've been on the board back when foundation aid took that big hit. When I was first on the board, and some school districts had to do big cuts, big layoffs. You know, Grand Island's been very, very fortunate that we haven't. We've expanded our programs, we've held our programs. We've done a really, really good job here for many, many years, and we're very fortunate. And Grand Island residents have been very supportive of that. So just mindful of all of that, going into, you know, our budget season and preparing for our budget voting.
And that's, Doug, that's the guidance we're looking for from the board, so we thank the board for that as well. So as you can see, this proposition number 2 for vehicle purchases, it's conservative. It's about what you're used to seeing each year without purchasing zero emission buses. These are gas and diesel buses, so this shouldn't really surprise the board at all, but we can, you know, next time we're together in March, if you're looking for something different, please let us know.
What is a WC?
Wheelchair.
Oh,
Winston Churchill. Yeah, wheelchair bus.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last slide is just a recap.
Yeah.
The numbers we already went over.
So we'll be back at it again on March 9th. Doug is doing a fantastic job. His department, along with John Monasanti,
I've
is
got a
working
great
so hard.
team. There's a great team in the business office.
Yeah,
He's
so
helping out quite a bit.
thank you to the board. Thank you, Doug.
I think about that question.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Beth. There you go.
Sort of related. Will you be able to use the data that you're collecting through the survey that's going out about the capital budget or improvement plan and apply it to kind of how we're presenting this? Like, because I see the two, they're not related, but they are related.
Oh, for sure. So right now, Ally put it in a digital newsletter. She's working with Erie One BOCES to U.S. mail out the same survey to every resident. So as soon as, I would say it's going to take us about a month to get all that data back. And then, of course, we will report that to the board. And some of the elements of that feedback is going to, I'm sure, resonate with what Sue and Joy were talking about today. Yeah.
So, my question is, so we sent it out digitally before it went out in mail?
It's just in a digital somewhere. It's not going to hurt anything because.
No, but I think what's gonna happen is those that can't access it digitally.
Oh, we're still U.S. mailing to every
But
resident.
it should have all gone home at once.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
don't-
could say that, Brian,
yeah.
like, the people that can't, people that are hearing that people can do it digitally,
Yeah, it's going to go out.
we can
Yeah.
agree to disagree. It should have all landed at the same time. The day it went live digitally, I would say it should have been mailed.
Well, I appreciate that feedback, but every resident's going to
So
get a hard
when
copy.
will, so are we looking to mail that out in the next week? Like, it needs to go out ASAP now that it's out. We can't wait a month. It needs to go out.
Yeah, I still think we're going to get the same data. That
I
we're going to get
understand we're gonna
robust
get the
data.
same data, but those people that are upset that they don't see anything are gonna hear that it's out digitally and it's not gonna be in their mailbox.
Okay, well, it's still going to go out. It's going to be
We should
mailed
have
out.
timed it better, in my opinion.
Well, I can tell you we've gotten 11 people that have responded so far, so it's not,
No, I
we're
get
not
it,
getting
but
a lot of feedback yet. So, and it'll also be, it'll be emailed to all of our families.
Well, I think we should hold off on the email to all the
Yeah,
families.
we haven't done that yet.
Until we put out email. I think it all needs to go out to everybody at the same time.
It'll be mailed.
I think it all needs to go out at the same time.
It can't now. So I appreciate that
I
feedback,
would
but it
hold off
can't.
on the email until it goes out.
Yeah, we're not planning on sending that email out yet. Okay.
Can we get the timing of when you've asked that to be back? When we're planning on having that tally and we've got no information on that. Like, I'm surprised to hear that it went out. So if we can get a timeline on when it's gonna be mailed, when it's gonna be back, when you think it's gonna be tallied, and when the email's going well, it would be great if the board can see it before we do any more work, in my opinion. It's very much, you know, capital project is very much our work as much as it is the district. And I think we need to be more involved in it.
I'm just pausing because the board will be very involved. The entire board will look at the
I
data.
just would like the timeline of the survey.
The timeline is difficult to communicate now because we're waiting on BOCES to put it together for us. So as soon as they do their work, then it'll be mailed to every resident. So as soon as we have that back, then it will be mailed. Okay, so this is our presentation. You can see again on March 9th, we'll be back at it with the board, and we will continue to work hard to lower the tax levy number you saw. I think it was 3.2
That is the
maximum. So we will work hard to have that number lowered as well for the next presentation. Okay, I think we're done with that.
Okay, on to Cheryl.
Check. So if I could have action on my CPSC and CSC report. I know it may look a little bit different than usual. Does it look okay? But I just wanted to put a shout out to Angela Nato. You know, Angela Nato, we have Lisa O'Leary that's out right now on medical. She's set to return on Monday, which is so exciting. But Angela Nato has really done a nice job holding everything together while Lisa's been out. And it was her first time doing a Board of Education report, so she did well. So if I could have action on that, I appreciate it. Does it look the same?
It looks the same.
Okay. All right.
All good.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
On to the superintendent's report.
Actually, I did not prepare a report because we knew our budget presentation would go long today.
Okay, on to the Board of Education report. Do we have to do anything with we have an action item for report A. If I can get a motion?
I'll motion.
And a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, I don't have anything to report for the PTA council meeting. Do we have
Just the
anything?
information.
Okay, and then we have the, and the veterans exemption, I don't know, I know, we don't really have any more updated information. I did speak with the supervisor, and the tax assessor's office is starting to receive some information on the program. I did speak to a veteran. I had a veteran that I graduated with who will not be receiving the benefit, but he did say that it will be a smaller percentage of the 100 than the 122 that receive the current exemption. So we will probably not be able to put an actual number out to the public because it probably will have an enrollment form. But stand by on that, that's why it's not here with the information, the dollar amount that I know you both asked for. So hopefully we're monitoring it with the assessor's office. So once we have, I know Dr. Graham reached out to Jeff Swiatek as well to see if he had any information on the program, and it has not really been rolled out yet, so we're watching it, and once we have more information, Doug, I don't know if the assessor will reach out to you directly either, but it's really in process, so we'll keep it on the agenda, so it's on our minds, and once we have more information, we will share that out and put it as an action item once we have more information. Brian, do you have any more?
No, but Jeff Swiatek did give us his perspective, and he did advise us, right, to work with the town. And we're waiting for Morinello's office to answer the same questions.
Definitely. So that's really what we have there.
Thank you.
It's in the process, but it does seem like it will be a smaller group of veterans that will be able to take advantage of this new program. So, all right. And then we did have someone sign up for the Voice of the People, so I'm just going to read this real quick. At this time, public comments are invited for those individuals who desire to address the Board of Education
and any topic which is not on the agenda. Residents who have previously signed up to speak will be recognized by the president. When speaking, please identify yourself first, speak clearly and loudly enough for everyone in the room to hear you. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to no more than 3 minutes, to appoint a spokesperson of concern and, if necessary or desired, to supplement verbal presentations or written reports. Personal comments toward a board member, member of the community, staff, or board of education will not be considered appropriate. Alice Gerard.
Hello? Yes, it's working. This is Alice Gerard, your local journalist. When I'm not doing that, I'm also an election inspector. Tomorrow is a special election, and I would encourage everybody to come out and vote. I would love to see your shiny, happy faces at my polling site. And one reminder for those students who are going to turn 18 this year, please come and register to vote. If you would like to register to vote tomorrow, even if you're not 18 yet, you can. We give out voter registration forms. You can fill it out there, and we will return it to the Board of Elections, and you do not have to put a stamp on it. So I would encourage you to please register to vote. We love to have a very high voter turnout. We would love to see everybody there because voting is definitely a right, and it is your voice to be, so you can be heard by the government. So please, I would love to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, where's your polling site tomorrow?
I am going to be at the main fire hall.
All right.
So please come. Otherwise, a bored Alice makes mischief.
Thank you, Alice.
All right. On to the committee level items in case round. Are you Roger? Thank you. You can vote on whatever.
Just want to say that I am looking forward to this weekend's musical. I have a few inside tracks on it.
And a superstar.
But yeah, so I definitely highly recommend. I know the kids for years have been talking about doing this show, so they're finally doing it at Little Shop of Horrors. So I encourage everybody in the community to come out and support the kids in the theater.
I'm all set.
Also excited for the musical this weekend. We're going on Friday night, and we'll be at the Kagavine event on Thursday, the Healthy Heart Night. So I've never attended that, but looking forward to that this first time. Thanks.
Everybody just does it and like.
Jake?
I'm all.
Joy?
I'm all set.
All set. John? Chairman?
All good, thank you.
Ladies?
Good. The only thing, I was actually gonna let everybody know to go online to CUR8 to buy your pre-sale tickets for the musical. It starts this Thursday. And I guess Dunkirk Dave said there's 6 more weeks of winter, so that's fun.
They all did. It's so sad. When we, on our tour, we forgot to stop and get our gifts from the tax department. So there is, it looks like there's a keychain for all of us and a Christmas tree ornament. So make sure you grab them before you leave. And I did want to say that if you have not seen the newsletter that Allie put together, I did not get a chance to read through it, but it's very exciting that we will be seeing a newsletter. It was emailed to all of us. I think it went to all the K-12 users, so very exciting that we are seeing a newsletter. That's exciting, so if you get a chance to take a look at that. February 16th through the 20th is midwinter recess. Hopefully everybody's going away to somewhere warm because these cold temperatures are enough. And then March 9th is our next Board of Education meeting. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:30.
I will motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 7-0.